This is Shaved and Unshaved, the podcast / talk show. We got our sippy cups.
Cheers.
Cheers. You drinking tea tonight?
Yeah.
I'm drinking a mocha, I think they call it. It's a little bit of coffee and
Chocolate.
hot chocolate. It's a new year. We've got lots to talk about. Coming live from a bedroom somewhere in Canada. The kids taking over the television in the living room.
And everything. COVID.
It's one way to put it. At some point I'm gonna shave my scruff off. It seems like a terrible premise to just have your face shaved throughout a show, but
Well, you don't actually like show the shaving process.
oh, not yet.
No.
But yet, one day we might. We'll see how you shave my face. Okay. We're gonna start with your facial routine.
Were we?
You did your face mask today.
Yeah. It's part of my like New Year, new skincare routine. You know, and a few of my co-workers, some girls at work said they were gonna do. They had new skincare routines because they're getting acne or
From wearing
maskne
maskne.
from
From-
having to wear a mask 8 hours a day.
These dirty things. You have to make sure to clean them.
Shout out to all the workers out there who wear a mask 8 hours a day. It sucks.
Yeah. You're truly heroes. To all the frontline workers, thanks for all your hard work. So maskne. I think not only does it give you bacteria on your skin, it also can cause like cough or cold or worse, where you kind of want to always wear a clean mask
Yeah,
and
yeah, you do.
properly take care of your skin while you're at it.
Just having something rubbing all day, you know, and what happens when you sneeze? When you're wearing a mask, you sneeze with the mask on. That's the whole point of having the mask. But then you have a mask that you sneezed into, you know, gotta take it off and put on a new mask. But like, that's not an option for some people. Like, there's been PPE shortages and whatever. I don't actually have that problem at work. They have provided us with reusable masks. Mask issues. It's more than just pimples.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, we'd go for really long skidoo trips. Spend like 8 hours driving through the bush on a skidoo. But we'd wear these balaclavas, and by the end of the year, they would stink so bad. You don't realize how much you're perspiring constantly.
And your nose is running because you're cold and you're outside and gross.
Yeah, it was. I distinctively remember how terrible those things got to be. And then me and my brothers would all be like wearing each other's, so you'd be like constantly sniffing somebody
Passing
else's.
around the germs.
Yeah, those were the days though. Come home, there'd be a big pot of chili on. Doesn't get more Canadian than that, eh? I got some tarot cards. I want you to pull a tarot card maybe a little later in the show.
Oh.
You want to do that now? Let's do that now. Here's the tarot cards. Gonna give it a quick shuffle. What else? Yeah, it's 2021. I want to wish everyone a happy new year. It's been a tough few months, but we're getting through this together. And as much as everybody's saying take care of yourself, take care of others too. I know there's not a lot you can do when you're on lockdown, but it's important that you remain in contact with people and tell them that you're there for them, even though you may not be. But the thought is nice. Okay, I'm not going to give them too big of a shuffle, but
I'll just
cut it and pick the top card. Okay. Show everybody at home that card. I got my book here. I don't know this off by heart, so.
okay. What do we got here? It is 13, the Holy Scepter.
Ooh.
It's pretty epic looking. Knees down.
Classic. Appetite for Destruction by Robert Williams. So, talk amongst yourselves while I find this.
Yep.
Okay, we're just going to do the meaning of the card that you just pulled.
Yes, yes.
Though this is a primary card of change, traditionally it depicts a death. It can mean many things. The letting go of old ways and habits, the turning from one path to another, the conscious desire to move on. All of these are necessary aspects of the Grail's quest. Though the meaning of this card can relate to disenchantment, disillusionment, or detachment, the imagery here reflects the more positive aspects of fulfillment, renewal, and restoration. Be aware of the inability to change, to allow all your energies to flow. Allow things you no longer need to pass away. And here's some pinpoint words. Harsh action, compassion, losing outworn ideas, breaking old patterns, and disenchantment. Ooh,
Dun, dun, dun.
I think that's pretty spot on for the new year though. Should I do one? Maybe later. We'll come back to this.
All right.
And that was your tarot reading for the day.
It's been an interesting 2 weeks of the new year so far.
Yeah, we're 4 days away from the inauguration.
Nah, who cares about that?
Well, some people care. Shout out to Joe Biden and the Kamala Harris administration. Did I say that right? Kamala Harris. Either way,
I'm sure they're gonna do great.
I'm gonna stumble my words one way or another. I'm missing so many brain cells. Yeah, they'll do great.
Everybody's gonna be happy to see Donald Trump go, except for all those people who were at the Capitol last week.
Yeah, that was something else. $2.5 trillion in defense spending, and they're unable to protect their own capital or stop a bombing in downtown Nashville. What are the FBI and CIA doing?
What are they paying these guys for?
Probably a lot more than we could ever know.
Yeah.
Shout out NSA, FBI, CIA. What did you think about the Capitol being stormed? Not to cut you off, but I like to think that it was all an illusion, that they were sent there as like the cover of smoke, that someone was stealing very important documents while that was all going on. That it was all a misdirect to either destroy or like a Watergate times 10 covertly, and then they went around and wrangled up a bunch of like hard right wingers and whatever you want to call them afterwards, like the people who were just useful pawns in a scheme to steal information. Possible? I don't know. That's for you to decide. What do you think went on there?
I think you've read too many James Bond
Well, who doesn't love James Bond?
action novels. To come up with such a far-fetched idea like that.
Is it really that far-fetched?
Yeah.
Richard Nixon sent like 5 spies into a building to tap all the phones.
Yeah, but he got busted.
And we're back. Another day. Yeah, it's just a quiet Sunday.
The boredom of being locked in is
Getting to people?
is settling in. Yeah, I'm sure it is getting to some people. It's not getting to you.
No, I had my freak out last year, so I know nothing good comes of it. But I have noticed, like, watching Mark Maron, Tom Green, Joey Diaz, a couple, like, internet personalities that everybody's cracking a little bit. Like, I'm seeing hints of myself when I was in extreme isolation and breaking down. Like, human beings are social creatures, so it's important that you have human contact. Like, we didn't realize how important for mental health and overall health, just going, like, taking the 2,000 steps to get to the restaurant, or, you know, before you sat down and shoveled food in your face or down your gullet. Like, all those little bits of exercise and giving purpose to your life, like whether it was just a meeting with friends or how important it was. You know, having like the increased phone calls all the time, and people are a little bored.
Yeah.
Mindfulness is very important. I also have the feeling that this is a very unique time in our lives. Whether you're working or not working, you have far more time with immediate family members, or the ability to cook yourself a nice meal. Like, the time is seemingly endless, so take advantage of what time you do have. Like, write a book, shoot a podcast, test your chops at directing, you know, make a miniature village and set up the train set out of the basement. Who knows? Do some Legos. I'm not an expert on anything, so. But you had mentioned people think it's their livelihood. They invest so much time and energy. I always thought, like, yeah, maybe it's a zero-sum game where a lot of what we were doing was for nothing. To keep a restaurant open and never to make $1, just to have a bunch of write-offs and overhead that, like, really wasn't sufficient. It wasn't efficient, where there was a lot of food waste, there was a lot of, like, time wasted. Minimum wage being so low, a lot of people, even though that's how they kept their livelihood up, your time could have been better spent doing something else. whether it's going for a jog or a walk or cross-country ski or swim or...
Yeah, but what happens when, like, the wheels in the cogs stop turning? The whole, like, machine of society starts breaking down, and there's just thousands of unemployed and
people walking around
thousands
aimlessly,
of people
just bumping into each
who are
other.
becoming homeless, who are going hungry, who...
Yes, that's the harsh reality and consequences that are unintended. But that's what people gave up when they want to use services like Uber or Amazon and give up all your data to big corporations. And we're at the will of the elitists. Yeah, it's hard to find value. It's not that you don't have any value. It's just hard to find value in like all those vices that people carry. You know, for years we would go every Friday, Saturday night to drink just for the sake of ourselves drinking and justifying it because you're in a social atmosphere. Well, maybe it's not the best thing to drink unconsciously. And
Oh, we killed so many brain cells. It's such a good time, but can't remember any of it.
yeah, but you made room for the stronger ones, so you just make room for the strong to survive or whatever. And you know, it's just a big washing machine. I'm watching like all these people lose their minds thinking that Canada's full of communists or space isn't real. Thinking like all these things that have no weight in their real lives. They've put a ton of energy to thinking or trying to understand complex realities that like really don't affect their life at all. Who cares if there's an intergalactic federation of aliens that control Earth? Like, you're not part of it. Like, maybe make some cookies. Try to like benefit your life some other way.
Go bake some bread.
Yeah. We watched a good movie last night.
Yeah, that was a good movie last
A
night.
little bit of a rom-com, what would you call it?
Sure.
Get ready for the reveal. Lockdown with Anne Hathaway and some well-spoken Englishman.
What's that guy's name?
I don't know.
You should really know.
Should I look it up?
Yeah. Anyways, it was it's very relevant. You know, it was like set in London, and you know, they're locked down. So, and they're like a couple that was supposed to have broken up, but then the lockdown happened, and they're stuck cohabitating together.
She's a CEO and he's a truck driver. And they're like...
Well, you can't give too much away. You can't give too much away. But, so I'm not going to say any more. But it was good. So, is it on Netflix?
No, it's an HBO Max.
Oh, HBO Max.
Let's get this. Chiwetel Ejiofor. How would you say that name?
You did a great job.
Chiwetel Ejiofor. Wow, maybe I shouldn't have looked that up.
Sorry, that was so funny.
And Anne Hathaway. Who's a dame. Wow.
We can just start calling her that. Dame Anne Hathaway.
Give her the title before it happens. What is a dame anyway?
I don't know.
Like, is it like
I thought it was just like an older,
an earl? Or is that...
posh lady.
You've got to be English, though.
Yeah.
Okay. What can we say without spoiling it too much?
Nothing.
Check it out. It's a fantastic movie. It's actually even kind of transcends what we're doing right now. Because there's a lot of like Zoom call stuff in it and makes for a funny dynamic.
Unexpected.
I wonder when it was shot. I mean, I could have got all this information before, but cohabitation is proving to be a challenge, but fueled by poetry and copious amounts of wine, it will bring them closer together in the most surprising way. Is a brief synapses of it. Wait, synapse. Not synapses of the brain. What I lack. You did your face mask yesterday. How did that go? You feel clearer, cleaner,
Yeah.
more alive?
I guess so. It's hard to say because I look so tired and...
Well, I think it's almost time for another coffee.
Yeah, it is. It's almost time for a shave.
Oh, that'd be a brilliant idea. Let's do that. We'll come back and we'll see you shortly. Action! So the kid's been gaming for like 25 hours straight.
Kids today.
What was he talking about? Epic Games buying Rocket League?
Yeah. And that they've implemented money-making system. So now you have to you want to buy stuff.
Just get kids to spend more money?
I guess so.
Seems like somebody's doing something right. And now, Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy. I think there probably should be a rule that if you're talking about how many loaves of bread a bullet can go through, it's understood that you mean lengthwise loaves. Otherwise, it makes no sense. And that's been your deep thought of the day. I used to love Jack Handy. Those minutes, good look up on YouTube. Jack Handy's Deep Thoughts. I wonder who Jack Handy is. Isn't there a zoo guy named Jack Handy? Remember the guy who'd had snakes and koala bears and stuff?
Vaguely. How's that coffee?
I cut my chin too. I'm terrible at shaving. Shaving never gets easier.
Kind of have a headache.
Uh-oh, that's a symptom.
Uh-oh.
Splitting headaches. I wore a dirty mask, and I swear I'm getting a sore throat again. Meh. I'll quit tomorrow. All this healthy weight gain that we're doing.
I have nothing to say about that.
Oh, Jack Hanna? Is that the zoologist guy's name?
I think that's who you're thinking.
Jack
of.
Hanna.
Yeah.
Knew I'd get it. You reading any good books?
No. No.
I pulled out the heavies, Dante's Inferno. I don't think I can get through 2 pages of it. It's pretty dark. It's not much of a comedy, that's for sure. So we talked about the inauguration, Lockdown the movie. Seems like 2021's going the same as 2020.
Seems like it. I think that's gonna stay this way for a while. People who are holding their breath that things are going to go back to normal, I think, are in for a rude awakening, and that this is the new normal.
Yeah, you had me reminiscing yesterday about going to a music shop and buying CDs or tapes or records, whatever era you're from. Where like theaters, music stores,
Concerts.
concerts.
Are we ever going to have concerts again? Are you going to ever pack 20,000 people into a giant room ever again?
Not unless it's for mass vaccination.
Exactly.
You get your shot on
it's
entry.
It's scary. Outdoor music festivals hopefully will still be able to happen in the future, but arenas, like even the sports thing, like the hockey, but like, or the basketball, but nobody's in the arena. It's like, gotta seem like something's missing.
I've taken this drastic step where the bread and circus of it all does not do it for me. I don't think it's responsible prop up these fake heroes. It's super selective. It seems like a big boys club where it's not even based in skill. I don't believe in any sports any longer because it's all fixed. Wayne Gretzky and his wife got caught for a gambling ring. Michael Jordan was a huge gambler. Go to golf, John Daly, huge gambler, where it seems like there's been scenarios or instances where they've proved that the refs were paid off. You just go look at the last 10 Super Bowls. It comes down to the last 2 seconds of the game and somebody makes a miraculous catch and they don't even review the play. They just kind of like, no, they won. Like it's, and here's the other scenario that I don't think the players or the people watching are the real winners in the whole scheme of things. It's the billionaires. It's how much product you can sell. It's how much you can hype up your star player to sell basketball shoes or jerseys or hats and like create revenues in ways that like we're all losers in the situation. It's over sensationalized. It's a market. It's an industry. It's all who's the better salesman, who spends more money on stacking or padding their team. I don't believe a lot of people will agree with me on this, but I've completely lost all respect for almost every sport known to man at this point. Look at boxing. You have like an ex-NBA player fighting a YouTube star, and kids want to think like this dude is the next Muhammad Ali or like George Foreman or no, like there's actual people who devote their lives to these sports and are extremely skilled. It's all if you're born into the family or you know a guy who knows a guy. Floyd Mayweather being trained by his uncle whose father was a famous boxer, where billionaires are determining who wins the league and it's all based off of a vote. I think on the microcosm, some people are just better athletes, but there's lots of amazingly good athletes. Like, not saying that Randy Johnson's the greatest baseball player ever known, but I'm seeing people wanting to believe that it's real, and I think it's completely set up in every case. Umpires are paid off, refs are paid off, the players are in bed with the mob. When Wayne Gretzky's wife gets thrown into an FBI probe for a gambling ring, doesn't it kind of seem like it's all just a crock of shit? You're paying a bunch of people ungodly amounts of money when there's a lot of poverty in the world.
Yeah, but some sports, brings families together. They have something to bond over, something to do together, a reason to see each other every week. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and advocate for either side. I know some people like sports, and that's fine, and I know some people don't. Sometimes I get into it.
I just can't wrap my head around like some 26-year-old buying a Ferrari and then going and giving out teddy bears to a children's hospital, claiming they're doing...
It's part of the job.
Yeah, claiming they're saving the world, shooting a rubber puck on ice. And even that, I'm not saying that they're not spectacular athletes, it's just feeding something that's like very marketed. And the real people who win are the billionaires, and the sheep that follow these sports lose by buying a shitty jersey or a hat that means nothing in 5 to 10 years. Like, it just, I don't know.
So pessimistic.
I am kind of pessimistic because I've completely turned myself off from it. Like, when there's a global pandemic and you're worried parents or aunts or uncles passing away in hospital ICUs, maybe sports aren't really that important at the end of the day. Like,
oh, and people are passing away for other reasons too. There's lots of bad things going on in the world. There's lots of people being made homeless. There's lots of people starving. There's lots of people...
I don't know the exact number.
With addiction problems.
But it's always remained balanced. Like, 16,000 people die a second, but 16,000 are born. Whether or not there's a pandemic, there's always been this balance of life and death where, yeah, it's just a reality of life that people pass away. I'm kind of surprised they haven't had more like information out to the public about clean and healthy living. Like, don't consume 500 grams of sugar a day and give yourself diabetes, or lay off the processed foods. Like, and that's where I kind of say it's like seems like a zero-sum game where...
Yeah, they've always said that, but there's been more junk food on the shelves than ever for the past 5 to 10 years. Like, less real food, more processed food.
That calorie, high energy chocolate bar. How was the grocery store? You said there was limited product on the shelves?
It was really busy. And yeah, there were a few things that like there wasn't a lot of product on the shelf.
Just in a day, it all goes away.
Yeah.
Like what kind of product? Like canned foods? I know that there's no, and this is what makes me think there's like a trade war going on, that they've really limited European products. Like at one time you were seeing a lot of product come from Europe or Asia,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden there's just been this like downward spiral of it's all back to Canadian product. It's very North
very
American.
much so.
And maybe I can't remember the trade deal. NAFTA squared, the North American Free Trade, which is like Mexico, Canada, US. Then there's another trade deal that was like the TTP, Trans-Pacific Trade, or TPT or something.
Yeah.
I don't know the acronym for it, but an Asian trade deal. It's not accepting our recycling which was just being burnt in garbage dumps on pristine paradise islands all around the world. Like, there's been these little hints that there's something else going on.
There is something else going on, and whatever it is, whatever is going to happen, whatever is happening, Canada's in an excellent position, and Canadians don't need to be afraid, but they need to be aware that deals are being made, and we're a super power player. We're an extremely resource-rich country.
We contribute to helping
We're very
the less fortunate.
Yes, we're considered not an extremely powerful military country. We strongly rely on our allies for that.
They just signed the Brexit deal, which dismantled the UK's economic power with Europe. Everyone's just becoming isolationists and nationalists and yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
Extreme authoritarians. Soon you'll get ticketed just for going outside. Tax us on our fresh air. You said something, I completely lost my train of thought.
Can I smoke? Do you mind if I smoke?
No, go ahead. Action. My face is on fire. I'm digging this 70s hair though. It's like I'm wearing a mop on my head.
I like it.
I'll take a compliment where I can get one.
I could go for a haircut.
So I noticed we left the other day out of the apartment building and we're getting some looks if we're not wearing masks.
Like a look of disapproval.
Yeah, and maybe it's just feeling things out a bit, but I mean, we should be wearing our masks. We do wear masks everywhere we go. We've been pretty adamant being out in public, but you would think 30 seconds to walk out of an apartment building isn't going to be the end of the world.
Hopefully not.
But I'm afraid someone's going to call the cops on us and this whole rat culture of fining people. We're not anti-maskers, but I mean, it's a convenience thing. Sometimes your first thought isn't, oh, I'm going outside, I need to wear a mask.
Yeah, and I'm finding myself stashing masks in my pocket and stuff because I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna need a mask in a situation where I don't think I'm gonna need one, or I've already been in situations where it's damn, I needed a mask and I didn't have one.
Yeah, and I'm not advocating for not wearing masks, but it's I don't think it's proper to be fining people. It just seems so authoritarian to me.
Yeah.
Even with the vaccination thing, I was thinking okay, planes don't usually fall out of the sky. And if someone was afraid of flying, you wouldn't force them onto an airplane. That's their choice, whether or not they want to get on that airplane. If they don't feel safe and it's going to cause some stress
I don't
or
think
trauma.
They're necessarily running around ticketing people going in and out of their apartment buildings, but they are ticketing people in places like the mall or the airport or somewhere where you're in a very public setting and you're refusing to wear a mask.
But people are struggling to pay their bills. I don't think it's necessarily right to if you don't conform, we're gonna hurt you financially, which in turn actually causes stress. They could not have food for their child or have gas to get
Exactly, like the
their car
government has put
get to
these
work.
restrictions in place, but common people who are trying to enforce this rule upon other common people are having to suffer abuse. You know, somebody working behind the counter at 7-Eleven asks somebody to put on a mask, and that person swears at them and spits in their face. Like, that person's not right either for not wearing a mask.
Yeah, it just seems
There's bad situations all around. Trying to make people wearing a mask, having people not complying to the rules.
What happened to hippies? Like, did they all just die? Because at one point it was like, no man, I'm not gonna conform. Like, don't tread on me, fucking fascist. This machine kills fascists.
The machine took over non-conformists. Like, there's no such thing anymore.
You fall in line.
Even if you're a non-conformist, you're still somehow conforming to the...
having to pay bills. If you hate the oil industry, you can always drive a bike. Just hard to carry your luggage when you're on a bike. Even if I wanted to run away, where are you gonna run to? You can't go anywhere. And we're in
Tell that to our politicians.
Yeah, and we're into almost year one. I'll say the end of February, and people are already cracking. I mean, they're making movies about the lockdown called Lockdown. Check it out; it's a great movie.
Year one. Of what? The pandemic or the New World Order?
Yeah, one in the same, I would imagine. Yeah, it just seems so unfair to people. War doesn't have to be fought with a drone patrolling the sky or the threat of immediate death. They'll just let people die. Starvation, dehydration, toxic chemicals. Like, it could be World War III and you're none the smarter. You don't know. You're not put into a theater of war like our grandparents were, fighting with swords or bayonets or guns.
No, but we might live to see humans start a war with the earth. We might see some crazy weather, ecological catastrophes.
And we're back. War with the earth, ecological catastrophes, carbon taxes, pollution, toxic environments.
Clean water, energy needs, global weather patterns.
Yeah, we've had a particularly warm season.
We've never had a winter like this.
I heard on the news that the Earth is 2.5 degrees warmer than the average mean.
I'm not complaining. It's been a pretty mild winter, but...
Yeah, when you live in 9 months of sub-zero temperatures, doesn't seem that bad. Farmers get a longer growing season.
Yeah, but for us to have a milder winter, does that mean somewhere where it's normally hot, it's unbearably hot? Like,
it's cyclical. The Earth is a ball, and it is rotating.
ride the wave.
Like, maybe Earth's axis is thrown off. Sunspots.
So the radiation.
Causing mass earthquakes and volcanoes to explode all over the Earth.
Will the humans survive?
But just like the environment we find ourselves in with COVID, you adapt, and you have to adapt rapidly. So whether it's wearing a mask or, like, I don't think COVID's going anywhere for a very long time. We're gonna have to live with this present reality that people will get infected by it the detrimental effects that it's taken on our lives. That's why I kind of went off on the tangent about sports, was maybe concerts aren't the most important thing in the world in a time where there's a disease or virus spreading across the globe that could kill your loved ones by attending a sporting event.
No, but maybe people are mourning that way of life because it really is gone and we're not going to go back to normal.
Oh yeah, we got that like whole 12 steps of grief to go through because something's literally died. It's kind of like like your tarot card said, that you have to make that realization where it's like a disenchantment of.
Speaking of which, you have to pull a card. That's gonna be the wind down to the end of the show. Is you're gonna read a card now.
Oh, I don't know if I.
So
can
where
do
are
that.
they? Let's pull them out.
I don't know if I can do that.
You gotta give the people what they want. It's my turn to shuffle the cards of fate. Here we go. So you're feeling
I'm feeling lucky.
like a lucky card.
If I don't pull Lucifer, I'll be happy.
All right.
Oh, boars. I don't know where the camera. I don't know if you guys can read that, but it's BORS, number 19. It's two men fighting in front of a hill. Along a pathway, there's some treasure scattered about. One's got an open hand to slap, another's got a closed fist with the sun high in the sky.
The meaning for you. A down-to-earth and realistic approach, even to the highest mysteries of the quest, is vital at times. Boar's tolerance, devotion, and general shiny disposition make him a welcome attendant on the journey. The presence of this card in a reading indicates a favorable aspect to the question, which can be seen with clarity and directness. No shadows are permitted to obscure the meaning here. The ideas of dedication and friendship are important to those who engage in their own journey.
Ooh. There we go. You heard it here first.
Mm-hmm.
What were the words?
The words here. Innocence, enthusiasm, warmth, freedom, clarity of purpose. Ooh, that's a good card.
Yeah. Stoked on that. That's been my tarot reading for the month of January. We're almost through January here. I'm glad we got this out.
Well, we just passed the halfway point. There's 31 days in January. It's a long one. It's a long haul.
What is it? We're here for a good time, not a long time?
That's right.
We'll sign off. We'll say bye. All that good stuff. Everybody have a great month. Be there for your loved ones. Take care of yourselves. Eat lots of fattening food. Build up those reserves. You have anything to say?
Think good thoughts. Spread love and kindness.
Peace.